because he says in the fight against Lee, he says that the inner demon has been unleashed, and then after
Mm.
that, he says against Sasuke, he's I haven't seen him this bad in a while. He might lose control. How do you lose control of something that's you've already unleashed? You've
What
already
is
let
it?
it go.
Wait, what is he saying that like lose control? I think what okay. Oh,
You want
don't
me to get
forget
the
about the
scans?
plan. Are you talking about that?
Yeah, this game
Okay, I
posted.
think what he's saying that he's referencing. Okay, don't like unleash Shikaku. Like, don't let him out. Which is something that he has to go and like transform and do. I don't think it can just come out, which is what I was like
But
asking you
before
to
you said
show.
that was like his attitude,
Yeah,
like
I
he was
think they're
just
saying like, okay,
bloodlusted.
Gar's bloodlusted. When he like gets upset, he does like go to break the plan, right? Because that's what we see, and that's what the data book statement also says, which I like listed off a while ago.
Okay, and
It
then
states because he's at such a
I'm
disadvantage, he
telling you
goes
that
to let it out.
I'm telling you that these are two entirely separate things because later on in this chapter they're talking about him almost losing it, him slipping, blah 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 blah. This is as bad as they've seen him in a while. And then in the fight against Lee, they're saying he fully lost control. He unleashed everything. Like he went nuts to butts, right? So what's worse than Gara at 100%? You know what I mean? Well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like the thing that you're implying doesn't make any sense. How could it be? How could he
Yeah.
have more than 100%? They have to be two separate things.
Okay,
How
I
can he
think that
be?
okay.
How can he not have control of something he's already let the control go of? He already unleashed it.
Okay, this is what I like think like the situation is, and I think like after this, and like I guess like if you have another refutation, we can move off from this point.
It's
I
okay.
think what's happening is right. Gara has this version of himself where he's calm and collected. He's still bloodlusted, right? But he's not as like unleashing it as he was before. So let's say like there's this wall between these two versions of Gara, like the calm and collected one, and then there's bloodlusted just radiate from him. That version. I think when he's in his lead fight, he gets wounded. That wall is broken, and now he's just in his bloodlusted form, right? When he's just fine with killing anyone. He literally like does that to like two tuning, like not tuning. I'm not sure if they're like getting their tuning in the hallway, right? Right before his fight with Sasuke, he just murders them. Right? He also murders the sound ninja that shows up in the. I'm not sure if it's the Sand Village or not. So I'm saying like, okay, well now he's at this point, right? He broke that wall, and now he's just completely bloodlust, and it's getting more. It's just getting worse and worse. I don't think that
Okay.
he unleashes Shikaku. I don't think
Mhm.
Shikaku comes out because he's bloodlusted, because Gar's already just a bloodlusted person. But I think now that they're at this point, they know that like Gar's mental state is worsening.
Mhm.
He's more prone to breaking the plan,
No,
which is
I
why
disagree.
Conqueror tells him, "Do not
Strongly,
break this plan."
strongly disagree. Because Gara says in like his first appearance, anyone who crosses me is dead meat, and then he proceeds to kill anyone who crosses him.
Okay, you know those people right
The two
before
ninja
were
who walked up on him in the sound, like in the hallway, were like trying him, like they're like, "Oh, who are you, bitch?" And then he killed him. And then the sound ninja was trying to steal their scroll, so he folded him. Like
yeah,
it's not that's not out of character. He's doing what he said he would do
yeah.
from
I'm
the
not
get
saying
go.
that it's out of
And
character, right? But I'm saying that okay,
but listen, but you're trying to say that it's unorthodox that he's willing to kill, that he's like, oh, he's kill happy, he's ready to kill. This nigga Gar is always ready to kill. He says anyone who crosses him is getting folded, and he's folded anyone who has crossed him. And you're
I
saying
agree that he is willing
it's
to
weird that he's
kill.
trying to fold Lee. Lee crossed him. That's what I'm saying. Like this isn't out of this wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But then Konkuro says, oh no, this is something completely different. Gara's lost control. He completely let the demon free. This isn't the same. Like Gara's always bloodlusted. Gara says he will kill anyone who tries his shit.
Yes, but it's to a different
Okay,
degree, is what I'm saying.
it's how
I
can it
like
be a different degree
agree.
than anyone?
Okay, I
Okay.
agree that it's okay.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask
Mm-hmm.
you this question. Let me ask you this
Mm-hmm.
question. Let me ask you this question. Right? This nigga says, "I will kill anyone who tries me."
Uh huh.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, "I'll kill anyone who tries me." What is a different degree to that? How do you go up from there?
And now he's
I'll
at this
kill
point
anyone,
saying,
nigga. How do you go up from there?
and then he's at this point
What's
where he
worse than
walks into his
I'll kill
bed.
anyone?
Okay, okay. You asked me this question, then you repeat the question 16 times. Can I?
Go ahead. Go
Do I get
ahead.
the chance to answer it?
Go ahead, gang.
Okay.
Go ahead, gang.
I'm saying at this point, right? He goes from I'll cross like anybody like directly says like they're gonna stop him or like they're trying to kill him, right? He says, okay, I'll kill you because like you're doing this, right? I agree that Gar's always bloodlusted, but to the extent where now he's like getting more and more insane, where he's like referring to like now he's talking to his mom, right? Which he doesn't like. We never see him do before. Which is why I'm saying that his mental state is getting worse and worse. He can still be bloodlusted, but his mental state is changing and like rapidly getting worse.
So you're saying that this only happens when Gara is this him killing is only a response and him trying to defend himself. Is that what you're saying?
Mm, yeah, because okay, we'd
Okay,
see that. Like,
okay.
okay, hold on,
Look
hold on,
at
hold on.
scans
Okay,
accounts.
hold on. What? Okay, I agree that he's like fine with killing. Okay, right? It's when people bother him. He doesn't just like slaughter literally anyone, right? Because we know
Okay,
that like
so
okay,
mhm. So you're
Hinata's
saying
team watches him kill that like
mhm,
kill that group, right? And he like originally wants to kill him, but he stops himself. So this means he is holding himself back from killing people
mhm.
at this point, and then he gets more enraged, where he doesn't care about that anymore.
Okay. So then you've already agreed that he killed the sound ninja, killed him with the sand coffin. He's killing
That's
people in the hallways for even bumping into him. Okay.
no, they literally state we're not allowing you to like pass or something like that. I'll
Okay,
if
dog.
you want me to get this.
Lee axe kicked him. Lee kicked him in the fucking head.
Okay,
That's
I
way
don't
more.
disagree
He
okay.
that he's way more of a threat than they are. It makes
Okay,
sense that
I
he wants
don't
to kill them.
disagree that
That's
he's
what I'm
fine with
saying. So
killing Lee.
obviously, it makes sense that Gar wants to kill him.
Yeah, it's
But
fine for
then
him to want
Conqueror.
to
But
kill
listen,
him. That is
listen,
not my
listen,
point. That's not my
listen.
point.
And then Conqueror was like, "No, this isn't his normal bloodlust. This is his demon is fully unleashed. Like this is insane. Like he really wants to kill this nigga." And then
He
he says the same. Like he says it's fully out. It's completely unleashed. And then he says, "Oh, this is the worst I've seen Gara in a bit. Yep, he hasn't been this riled up. Blah 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 blah. This that, and the other. Like, there's no like they saw him at his maximum, right? They just said like a week ago that that was like all of them, like the full demon, right? And if you're saying that was his bloodlust, how are they saying they've never seen him this bad before? If that's him releasing all of his bloodlust against Lee, it doesn't make any sense. Like your argument doesn't add up. You
I'm
can't do
not
that.
because
You
okay,
can't
it's because
have
all
both.
right, it's the continuous misinterpretation of my argument and misrepresentation of
All
it
right, King.
that you
We
keep
can leave it
saying
to,
that
we
it's
can leave it to the
wrong.
judges. We leave it to the judges. That's
Okay,
fine.
I'm just gonna restate my argument one more time,
Okay.
and then we can just move on.
Okay.
All right, because my argument is not that he cannot want to kill people or he does not want to kill people that bother him. Yes, when Lee kicks him, he is fine with murdering him. This is like before he does some level of damage to him. Right? He is not just like gonna slit his throat the minute like he steps into the ring with him, which is something that is different from Sasuke. When he gets into his like ring with Sasuke, he literally says, "Yes, mother, I'm gonna give you like fresh blood, new blood." He wants to kill Sasuke the minute he steps into that ring, which is different from Lee. Right? He wants to kill Lee. That is fine because Lee damaged him. He's to a greater extent of like his mental state is worse, right? Because if he sees like Sasuke, he's like upset at Sasuke. I'm saying that before he takes damage, he is still bloodlusted, but he is still able to hold himself back from killing people, right? Because we see that, right? Because he notices that Hinata, Kiba, and Shino are watching him kill these ninja in the forest of death. He notices them and he's going to kill them, but he stops himself, right? So I'm saying that his mental state is getting worse and worse. He had when Conqueror states his inner demon is out, that is just him breaking this wall, right? Between like his common collected version, just his like bloodlust unleashed.
All right.
And then when they say I've never seen him like this before, this is he already has his bloodlust, and there's like more things to his mental state than just being bloodlusted. And that's why they think he's about to like destroy or like break the plan, right? Because if he was already breaking the plan at this point, they would have said something about it, or Shikaku would have been unleashed.
Okay.
Because I don't see any reason why Shikaku can come out without like Gara transforming.
All right.
But I don't think it was showed. You just said, "Well,
Okay.
I'm showing you this now."
Okay. All right. So I think the gates makes you dozens of times stronger. The three lotuses make you dozens of times stronger. You have the scans?
Mm, that's fine. I don't. It doesn't matter. I think
Okay.
like that. Due to the data book statement, Sasuke would just be able to tank this. Like tank Fifth Gate leaves attacks.
Okay. So can we go to conclusions?
Yeah. Hold on. Before I do that, because I like in my premise, I like brought up that there were like pieces of like feats that they both do the same that like goes along with Sasuke being like the same level of like Fifth Gate Lee.
Okay.
Right?
Go
Because you're
ahead.
aware like only after Lee does reverse lotus is he like able to have like Gar like weakened and on the floor, like huffing and puffing for breath, like on the floor, right?
No, that's not true.
When does he do this before Fifth Gate?
I got you, King. He actually beats the dog shit out of Gara. Hold on. Okay. So this is the aftermath of that axe kick I showed you. He actually goes through the sand armor, is able to cut Lee or cut Gar and make him bleed. And even Tamari states that yeah, that's a wound, like Lee wounded Gara. I can also show you Gara just Lee just folding Gara, punching him off of his feet with one punch, and this is still in his weightless base. And then when he goes into the front lotus, he like just blitzes and is like ragdolling Gara.
Uh,
So Lee's like
okay.
consistently like ragdolling Gara.
All right. I think we've like already gone over a point as to why this this is just like a weaker version of like Gaara's sand armor. Right. So it's like of course it's easier for him to break through than what it would be for Sasuke, who I think I've already made the point as to why he's going up against the reinforced armor.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's fine.
All right, so
You
since
said when he goes into forward lotus, he's able to blitz Gaara. So you're are we going into speed?
I've already presented my speed. The speed of my argument was the first thing I presented.
Okay. I just think that like I think whenever I'll just hurry up and make a speed point then.
Yeah, this whole thing was the speed point actually. So this is just like this is what is this again?
Well, for me it wasn't. I was
What
making
debate is
AP.
this?
This is Sasuke versus Lee.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, then yeah, I made my speed
I
argument
started
already.
out with my AP, but okay. I think whenever Sasuke replicates like the same feat as Lee, he's able to blitz the sand barrier that pops up for Lee, which doesn't pop up for Sasuke. I think you should be
What?
able to like blitz the
What are you
weightlessly.
talking about?
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my like Discord crashed a minute I went to manga so.
Mhm.
Alright, do you have the scan of like Lee hitting like jumping behind Gara and hitting him? Right?
Jumping behind him and hitting him. What do you mean?
Yeah, like whenever he like jumps behind Gara and then he like jumps back in front and he punches him in his face. That's like right
Yeah.
before he breaks his sand shield. Yeah. Can you like post that part? I'm gonna post like the Sasuke doing the exact same thing and why I think this is like a blitzing level above weightlessly.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there we go. I think at this point, right, we see Lee go from in front of him. Gara does instantly react to Lee going in front of him, which is consistent for both feats or
Hmm.
in both versions. And then we see Lee make another movement, which Gara is not able to. I think he isn't able to keep up with that last movement because he's still trying to keep up with this second one. But we see that his sand barrier is able to keep up, or at least with the second movement. I'm saying
Hmm.
that Sasuke doesn't need to make this last movement because the sand he completely blitzes the sand armor or the sand barrier.
Hmm. So, are you aware of the fact that the sand armor is on the whole time?
The sand armor
Yeah, like they
against Sasuke.
both of them. Yeah, both of them started with the sand armor on.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, no, hold on. You said like they not the in the you said they both started with the sand armor on.
Yeah, both of them. But when they were both of them were fighting. When Gara fought both of them, he had his sand armor on. Do you agree?
At that point, that like what you're showing for Lee, he doesn't have the reinforced version on. I think he has the reinforced version on for Sasuke at that point. Yeah.
Okay. So my point is all I asked about was the sand armor.
Hmm.
All I'm asking about is the sand armor right now.
Yes, the lesser version. It's on.
Okay. So hold on a second. I got lost. Where I was going with that.
Keeps pinging me.
Okay. Yeah. So the sand armor just makes him heavier. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. The sand armor makes him heavier, and like the actual sand is faster than he. Like and Conqueror says that, and I can get you the scan of him saying that. So
Okay.
the fact that Gara was able to turn and react to Sasuke is ass, especially since like he's able to like realize uh, that Lee has moved from when he first starts moving, but then Lee is able to make another move before Gara is able to like fully turn around to react to his first move. Like he's looking at Sasuke and he's looking at the after image of Lee, and you're trying to say that the two of them are relative in terms of speed.
Okay.
That
What I'm
doesn't make
saying
any
is,
sense.
okay. What I'm saying is, right. He initially, all right. In both instances, he reacts to like the initial first movement, right? Which I'm saying is consistent for both instances, right? When they first move, Gar reacts. The sand barrier gets in the way of Lee, he makes another movement. This is the one that guard can't keep up with. So like whenever Lee is like doing
Mhm.
continuous movements, he cannot be caught up or he cannot catch up with. Sasuke only needs to make this one because he completely blitzes the sand barrier, which doesn't come up at all.
Hold on. A couple scans for you. The first one is I just feel like this is such like a non-factor. Like this point, like I feel like honestly, we can move on. I feel like we don't have to. I don't have to go over this point anymore.
Okay.
Like you're yeah, that's fine. The speed argument's fine.
I'll just make sure I drop the data book statement before it's like this debate is over. So like it doesn't like
Yeah,
call
that's
out or
fine.
anything.
Just drop it now so we can go to conclusions. Stuff at least space on.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it real quick. Shouldn't be that far.
Okay, if I drop it for you.
Yeah, you probably can. It's like lost inside of my scans. If you send it, just tell me.
Here you go. I have it.
Oh yeah, like the strongest opponent statement.
I think so. I think it's that statement.
Mm. Oh yeah, it's the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom
Yeah.
left.
Okay. Can we go to conclusions now?
Yeah, I've already like explained the way the statement works.
All right. Since you started out, I'll start first.
Okay.
So for the speed argument, I pretty much proved that Base Lee was faster than Sasuke. And he said, and my opponent said that bare minimum that they're equal in terms of speed. Uh, so bare minimum, greater than Lee is greater than or equal to Sasuke in terms of speed. I think I proved AP pretty well with the whole sand armor point. Once again, my opponent agreed that that Lee with his front lotus was able to fight against the reinforced sand armor, and then Sasuke was also able to fight against the reinforced sand armor. And for both AP and speed, I mentioned the gates, which each lotus increases his power 12 by 12 times. And my opponent had no contention in this. He agreed. He tried to bring up the statement where it says that Sasuke was the strongest opponent Lee had ever faced. But this is after he agreed that Lee and Sasuke had bare minimum relative AP and speed. And he didn't contest the fact that Lee gets dozens of times stronger with each of the three lotuses. Uh, he didn't bring up any of Sasuke's like hacks. Like he didn't bring up the Chidori, the Fireball. He just kind of brought it down to like raw AP and stats. So I think Lee just beats the shit out of him, and Sasuke can't do anything taking that fight against him.
Okay. Well, for one, right, I don't think it's like ever state. I don't think we ever like agree or like states that like Lee just starts out in it. So for one, I think like I have Sasuke a blitzing level above Lee, right? Because most of my argument for like Sasuke being blitzing level above Lee, for most of it is like I guess left uncontested, right? He makes one refutation, I refute it as to why I think is wrong, and then we just move on. So basically, I like bring up like, okay, well, this sand barrier reacts to Lee, which is why Lee needs to make that third movement. I don't think he counters. That's why Lee makes his third movement. So that means, okay, well, Sasuke doesn't have to make his third movement because his barrier doesn't show up. That means the barrier is able to keep up with Lee. Barrier can't keep up with Sasuke. To me, Sasuke would be a blitzing level above Lee. And I think the way that I argued my data book statement, right, and I brought up the feat of, okay, well, Sasuke has like Gar like wheezing on the floor, or he has like Gar like out of breath on the floor, which is this thing that only Lee can only replicate at fifth gate. So that would go along with the data book statement to show that, okay, well, Sasuke is on the level of fifth gate Lee. Right, so he would just be able to tank all of his attacks, which isn't refuted at all. He just like refused to okay, well, that data book statement is wrong. So he doesn't state like, okay, well, if his AP isn't of that level, he can't tank it. So since Sasuke has this level of AP, he would be able to tank all of fifth gate Lee's attacks. And I think he would just speed blitz and one shot him since he's on the level of fifth gate Lee. I don't think he's ever able to like properly explain why Lee should be like why Gara has like Shikaku out at this form at this point. Because I think the argument for it was like practically circular. Because I asked, okay, well, when does like Shikaku ever shown to be able to do this? And I said, like, it's shown right now. I said, okay, well, it's inconsistent for the rest of the tail beasts. And he said, well, Shikaku works differently. I said, when Shikaku does come out, you see a transformation. Well, this is what he's doing now. There's like nothing that like definitively proves that Shikaku is coming out right now. So Sasuke just basically just like speed blitzes the one shot.
Are you done, Pianist?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the AP point, I guess I could go over like, I guess I could go over like if Gar was actually transforming into Shikaku against Lee, or like if Shikaku actually took over, right? And I do think like Aero won that point. And you show like the multiple scans of Konkoro saying like Gar's like another person right now, or that he's like letting out his inner demon and whatnot. And then like Pianist, what you showed was basically just like Gara being bloodlusted, right? And I do think like the way Aero explained it, where in this instance it's like Gara's transforming into Shukaku, when Konkoro states it is I think that's like the case.
So do you think the refutations of like them stating if it was Shikaku, he'd be breaking a plan? You think that refutation just means nothing?
Say that again.
Okay, I said for that statement, it is brought up that okay, well, if he was unleashing Shikaku, he would be directly breaking the plan, which we noted like they would say something about, or at least like try to do something or say something.
Yeah, and then Aero
he just said that
like,
they won't try to
do anything about it.
That doesn't mean that they can't say anything about it, which they do.
Hey, hold on, let me go listen to the recording.